If you can win the morning, you can win the day. For someone who wakes up at noon, I simply do not have my mornings. So in today's video, I am going to be rating CEO's morning routine. The first candidate, Elon Musk. We all know who Elon Musk is. He is beyond human. But after doing some research, I realized he is actually pretty #relatable.
But I go to bed late, so usually I go to bed around 1 a.m. or so. Probably half the time I don't have any breakfast. I just have like coffee or something like that.
So Elon Musk says he sleeps around 6 hours a day. I also average around 6 hours of sleep every single day. Not because I am busy and I have to run like 3 companies, but I'm just a terrible young adult. So the first thing that he does in the morning is to check his emails. Then he takes a shower, but specifically a cold shower. Obviously, I can't include a video of me showering, but I can include an audio of me suffering from this cold shower. So here we go. That was oddly a very good shower. It makes me feel very like awake. So for this morning routine, I will give it a generous 7.5 out of 10. And here are the pros and cons. Realistic wake up time, totally doable for me. The second pro, surprisingly, is the cold shower. I did feel a lot more refreshed and a lot more clear-minded. But no great ideas came to me in the shower because I was busy screaming. The con is that he checks his email a little bit too early in the morning before anything. Moving on to the next CEO. So the next morning routine is by Kwik? I think that's how you pronounce his last name. But he is famous for his billion-dollar morning routine because he is a brain coach. So he knows a lot about neuroscience and what is best for your brain, especially early in the morning.
The first thing I do when I wake up is I recall my dreams.
Conveniently, I did dream last night, so let me recall my dream on camera. I'm pretty sure this is not what CEOs dream about, but maybe next time I'll write it down, it'll be easier.
After that, I get out of bed and I make the bed. After that, what I'll do is I'll go into the kitchen and I'll have a tall glass of water.
I don't know if this is just a Chinese thing, but my mom has always told me that I should drink lukewarm water first thing in the morning every day. And I've developed this habit since I was like 12 years old. We're gonna drink some water. I already feel like a CEO.
I meditate then.
Settling in, allowing the mind and body.
From there, I do 1 or 2 minutes of just movement.
According to him, it doesn't have to be like going to the gym or anything. It can just be like burpees, star jumps, crunches. So that's kind of what I did.
Then I make a tea. I sip my tea and that's where I write my journal.
This next one is actually an easy one because I keep a journal and I journal almost every single day. I used to have this like journal where I write like a few lines about what happened that day. Today I went to the gallery with my friend and we had food. And that's how I used to journal, but recently I changed because I was actually enlightened by one of my professors. He said writing is a muscle and journaling is like going to the gym. So I want to work out properly now. That's why I bought a diary that looks like this, where it's just plain pages. So what I've been doing is just freely writing my thoughts every single day. I write about 1 or 2 or 3 pages.
And since I'm writing already, I'm going to my to-do list.
Also one of my favorite things to do because, you know, I am an ENFJ, so I like planning. Yes, I believe in MBTIs. Please don't unsubscribe. They also encourage you to write down your to feel list and to be list, I think. I want to feel confident and liberated. For some reason, I feel a little bit uncomfortable sharing my life on the internet now because of just a few creepy people, but I'm trying to get back onto that because that's really an external factor that I cannot control. But I talked about it in my journal as well. It's such a creative barrier when every little thing I say or do can be twisted into some sort of fetishization or just things that make me really uncomfortable. So if you're watching this and you're a resident creepy viewer, please just leave. Okay, that looks good.
From there, if I have time, I will, and I'll make time for the things that are most important, is I read. I read for about 20-30 minutes.
So I'm a bit of a basic bitch, and the only book that's fiction that I have is Normal People. I actually received this as a gift from a friend so long ago, and I never got into it because I don't like reading fiction. You can fight me, but I like reading non-fiction. When it comes to fictional stuff, I prefer watching movies. If you like reading fiction book and you have a book that you would highly recommend to me, then please do. Because obviously reading fiction book does help writing more creatively. So that's a goal of mine. I want to get more into writing and become better at writing. So I'm so hungry.
I make my brain smoothie, brain berries, which are your blueberries and avocado and your leafy vegetables.
Oh fuck, I already feel it.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never.
I am still a little bit hungry, so I think I'm gonna make myself a sandwich. I'm gonna give my concluding thought on this morning routine. I would give it an 8 out of 10. This morning routine was pretty solid. First of all, I think it's extremely good for your mental health. There's no distraction early in the morning. This is the first day where I felt like, oh, I'm not stressed to get things done. I do think it's a luxury because I didn't have to go to work or anything that day, so it's not like I have a time crunch. But at the same time, I do feel like all the exercises that he was telling us to do, it's a really good way to focus on your inner self. And that sounds kind of cringe, but after you try it, you kind of know what I mean. But there are cons to this morning routine, obviously. Once I start school, once I start work, I feel like I have to wake up at least 2 hours earlier in order to complete the entire list, which is a little bit too much for me personally. Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. Moving on. Now we move on to Mr. Mark Zuckerberg. Woohoo.
I want to know the very first thing you do.
No, the first thing I do is look at my phone.
Oh, you look at the phone first.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting.
Mark said he's not much of a morning person, so he wakes up around 8 in the morning and he checks his phone the first thing in the morning, specifically Facebook, which I think is just him promoting his own brand. But it felt really weird allowing myself to check my phone the first thing in the morning. I feel like I do that every single day, but I do it knowing that it's a really bad habit, and a lot of the times the first message or information I get in the morning can influence my mood so much. So it's not a great habit. Another problem is that once you get on your phone, it's so addicting to a point where you just can't get out of bed. So that day, I actually ended up staying in bed for like an hour before I got out because I allowed myself to go on my phone. But afterwards, Mark likes to go on a run. So I just got changed into my sports wear and I'm about to head to the gym to go for a run because Mr. Zuckerberg apparently runs 3 times a week and he does it in the morning. I am also a morning workout kind of person, so you know, basically Mark Zuckerberg now. Also, I hate ponytails, but it's the most practical when it comes to running. So let's head to the gym. The good thing about working out in the morning is that there aren't that many people at the gym compared to later in the afternoon or later at night where all the gym bros show up. So that was a nice little peaceful time for me to run on the treadmill without getting judged. So I just got back from the gym and oh my god, I started getting really tired around like the 10-minute mark, which is 10-minute mark, like Mark Zuckerberg. I'm actually in such a good mood right now. Maybe it is true that running or something releases endorphins or something. Yeah, I feel great. Usually in my mornings, I feel super sluggish. Like I feel like I will not have energy to run. But once you actually start running or like exercising, it's great. It's actually really great. I'm still like huffing and puffing. Okay. So apparently, he isn't too picky about what he eats for breakfast. He'd usually just stick into whatever he feels like that day because he doesn't want to waste time on making small decisions. So that's where we part ways, because I love spending time or wasting time making small decisions, especially when it's food related. Since we're doing his morning routine, I'm just gonna follow his routine completely. For some reason, Mark Zuckerberg gives me like white bread vibes. I don't know if that means anything, but yeah, we're just gonna have some white bread. This is actually a really good post-workout meal because you don't have to put any energy into making it, you know? So for this morning routine, I gave it a 7 out of 10. So far, everything on the list is pretty high. The pros to this morning routine is the running part. I did not expect myself to be in such a good mood after running, but I didn't like the fact that I checked my phone first thing in the morning. So I will try not to do that as often. So next we have Sundar Pichai. He is the CEO of Google.
What is one of the top executives in the world's morning routine?
Believe it or not, I still, I read a physical paper every single morning. I'm vegetarian, so I need to get my protein. So I always have an omelette in the morning with toast, tea, and read my paper. So I do that every morning.
Omelette and tea. So you know how in New York they have these like newspaper stand things all over the city? So this morning I went to like at least 5 of those stands to try and find a physical copy of the Wall Street Journal, and none of them sold newspaper. So they are technically like newspaper stands, but they don't sell newspaper, they just sell gum and like Coke, you know? But luckily, I found this free newspaper outside this Japanese bookstore that I go to a lot, and not only is it aesthetically pleasing, it is also in a language that I do not speak at all. It's probably gonna be the same if I got the Wall Street Journal, to be honest. Now I'm gonna go get ready, so I'm gonna put on some makeup and get changed into an outfit. According to Pichai, he dresses like a Banana Republic dad. So Banana Republic is like a clothing brand, so that's the aesthetic that he goes for. Do I look like a Banana Republic dad? And I also put on glasses to maximize the looks. He says he works a little bit from home before he heads to work, so I was just finishing up scripting one of my videos and writing down some video ideas before I headed to work at Google. Park my car. Okay, I really wish I work at Google, but I don't. I just visited the campus for the sake of this video because my friend works there. So that was my first time entering the Google building, and my jaw was on the floor because of how big and extra the whole building is. Also, I ended up having lunch there. They had a lot of cafeteria and a lot of option, but since I know Pichai is vegetarian, I ended up just eating a salad. And then I toured around the campus more. Calling it a campus or an office? I don't know. So this morning routine, overall, I would also give it a 7 out of 10 because majority of this morning routine is very doable, but the fact that he has to read a physical copy of the Wall Street Journal is just not that easy to access every single day and not that appealing to do every single morning. His fashion style is also not my choice of fashion. But overall, pretty good morning routine, just a tiny little bit generic. Next up, we have a female CEO. We have Shama Hyder. Shama or Shama? Shama? Sorry. So Shama Hyder is the founder and CEO of Marketing Zen Group. So she typically wakes up around 7:30 in the morning, and the first thing she does is to check her emails and see if anything is urgent. And since she is not a morning person, she showers at night, so she doesn't shower in the morning. Finally, somebody who doesn't shower in the morning. She says she never skips breakfast, so right after she wakes up, she will cook a very nutritious and big breakfast. Again, very relatable. At this point of the video, I was feeling really comforted because I was like, damn, my habits are so different to these CEOs, but maybe I'm just cut out to be a female CEO. Her morning routine is pretty simple and pretty self-explanatory. Everything is just very generic in a sense, but since she woke up at 7:30 in the morning, which is a lot earlier than my usual wake up time, I had so much time to like tidy my house, water my plants, journal, draw, edit videos. Like I felt like my morning was like infinite. But I'm gonna give this morning routine a 6.5 out of 10. It's basically my morning routine with an earlier wake up time. Still above average, but no bonus points, so 6.5 out of 10. Oh boy, next up, we have Warren Buffett. Apparently, Warren Buffett wakes up at 6:45 in the morning. He reads his Wall Street Journal and then he heads to McDonald's to get a breakfast muffin, sausage and egg with cheese. So that day, I woke up bright and early in the morning, very tired, and read a little bit of the Wall Street Journal. By a little bit, I meant like 2 minutes. Apparently, I have to check the stock market before I head to McDonald's. If the stock market isn't doing too well, we are not allowed to have the more expensive option of the biscuit breakfast. In my head, I thought I was gonna be the only person at McDonald's at 7 a.m. in the morning, so I was gonna film there. But when I got there, it was already packed with people. So I got my muffin and I grabbed my food and I decided to head to the park to eat it at the park for some calmness. And luckily, since it's early in the morning, the park was actually quite empty because it was like a Tuesday morning and everyone with a life will be at work at that time. So I was just chilling at the park and eating my breakfast muffin. The first 2 bites was like pretty good, and after that it started getting really heavy. Warren Buffett, he likes to drink Coke to wash everything down. I decided to skip that. Sorry, didn't stick true to your morning routine. So at this point, you probably would have guessed my rating for this morning routine is a solid 2.95 out of 10, just like the price of a sausage egg muffin. I was gonna give it a 4.95, but I think it's a little bit too generous. So finally, we arrive at our last CEO. So during his interview with Time magazine, he discloses that he is a very good morning person, so he usually wakes up around 6-ish, and he puts on the same outfit every single day, an Issey Miyake black mock turtleneck and blue jeans, because he doesn't like to waste time picking what he wears. So it seems like that's a common trait for successful people, that they don't like stressing or wasting any time making tiny decisions. It's a huge wake-up call for me, because the 2 things that I spend the most amount of time on is deciding what to eat and deciding what to wear. All jokes aside, I am sweating in this turtleneck. It is a really sleek look, but it is late August and my AC is not on, so I give this morning routine a 5 out of 10. It is pretty average. I think a little bit too early of a wake up time for me, and I don't like the idea of wearing the same thing every single day. You know, we can get a little bit creative there. And everything else is just pretty generic, so no extra brownie points for Steve. but a rest in peace point for him, so maybe I will bump it up to a 6. The winner of this morning routine competition among the CEOs is the $1 billion morning routine by Jim Kwik. I will give credit to the phrase, if you can win the morning, you can win the day. And trying all of these morning routine also helped me realize that it's more important to focus on getting good quality rest instead of simply maximizing the hours that I was awake. So regardless of what your definition of morning is, the initial hours after you wake up and the choices that you make will impact the rest of your day more than you think it would. So in general, no negative information, no unhealthy food, no unrealistic wake-up time usually makes the best morning routines, at least for me. So yeah, that is the takeaway for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Comment down below your favorite morning routine, and goodbye!